Good evening and thanks everyone for joining our next exciting session. Today we are going to present on topic transforming digital experience with Sitecore XM Cloud, comprehensive overview of tool for marketers and developers by Sakshi Krana and Kamachi Manoharan. Sakshi is a lead consultant pre-sales and Sitecore MVP in a visited category, having experience of 11 years, along with Kamachi, who is a Sitecore certified developer and having experience of 16 years in the industry. So over to you, Sakshi.
Thanks, Arjun. Thanks everyone for joining in, and thanks to Kaushik and Arjun for arranging this session for us. Kamachi, maybe we'll just start with the deck and we'll briefly start on the session. Kamachi, can you hear me?
Kamachi, can you hear us? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just sharing my screen. Please let me know if it's visible.
Yeah, I think we can go to the presentation. Your screen is visible.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, so this might sound to be some familiar topic for all of you, but we just wanted to do a deep dive on XM Cloud. From both marketers and developers perspective, I come more from the marketing side of Sitecore, where we are working as a pre-sales consultant, and Kamachi is our technical architect who comes from that vast, extensive development background. So we thought that, a combination of marketers and developers would be a best suited session to do, for all of us, and, to gain more experience and exposure of how XM Cloud looks from both the angles. So let's just get started. And before that, we'll just like to give you a brief introduction about us. So we both are working for Sitecore from a pretty long time. I think Kamachi is there for more than 16 years. She has also done certification on XP and also on XM Cloud. She has vast experience on various SaaS products of Sitecore DXP, along with XM Cloud on personalized CDP, Content Hub as well. And I'm working more from a pre-sales consultant. So I come from a technical background, but then I did my MBA. I switched my role to a business consultant. And currently I'm working as a solution anchor for various RFPs proposals. But because I have that technical side also, hence I've also done some certifications on Sitecore so that I also keep myself, updated with the latest trends and technologies. So we are here to give you a session. Feel free to ask any questions, and we are there with some small demos as well, so that we can make it more interactive and easy for you guys to understand this entire session. So let's look at the agenda for today. So basically, we are going to talk about what actually XM Cloud is, why we should go for XM Cloud, what are the key capabilities and features from a marketer's perspective as well as from a developer's perspective. We'll briefly touch upon the architecture and tech stack overview. We will have some short snippets of the demo as well while we talk about the features and benefits and functionalities. We'll wrap up with one or two case studies and a Q&A session. But if there are any questions in between, please feel free to get on that, and we can finally discuss on those questions. All right. So let's get started. So we just tried to, break the ice here, talking about what is happening in today's digital era. So all of us are digital folks. We are all the time on the mobile, on the tabs, on the laptop, and we are all the time browsing something or the other. So personalization has become something very important for all of us as a user, whether we are browsing on, say, Amazon, whether we are on Netflix, whether we are looking at mobile or internet banking. So all of that plays a very crucial role where we need to be having a seamless journey for all the users. Therefore, XM Cloud plays an important role because it brings that scalability and flexibility which we can provide to our customers and a personalized experience while we are bringing the customers, the seamless experience, but we are also helping the developer or the clients to have a seamless journey. So they are free of any upgrades, they are having a good performance, they are able to manage the marketing campaigns. So all of that, it helps to provide the benefits from both marketer as well as from a developer perspective, as well as from a client perspective. So these are some of the capabilities which we have listed down here. So it offers you the entire content management suite, which is actually the flagship product which Sitecore started with. So all those capabilities of content management are there. Your entire marketing suite, ranging from your personalization, analytics, all those capabilities come together as part of this suite in some shape and form. Yeah, obviously, if you want to go for some additional functionalities and features, there are supporting SaaS-based products to support it, but it is there present in some shape and form. And then you have that flexibility and scalability to manage those products. If there is an increase in the number of users, you can easily scale the platform. You can change the usage depending upon the kind of user journeys that you are having, or the flexibility in the number of users going up and down. And then it also offers a multi-channel delivery and multilingual capabilities. So that is why, XM Cloud becomes essential. And then we'll just talk about some, brief technical functional points in the next slide, where we want to talk about why XM Cloud. So the first few points here are that is a SaaS-based product. So with this SaaS-based product, it also comes with a headless architecture. So what does headless architecture actually do is it separates your UI layer from your content management piece where all your content is stored. So that helps to actually, deliver the content at a faster pace. That is why, it provides a better page performance and better site performance when you are browsing through the site. The other part that comes into play is your hosting complexity. So basically your clients, uh, they are managing the entire infrastructure at their end. Some of them are on-prem, so they are managing it on their own or in the Azure infra or the AWS environments. But once you go for a SaaS-based platform, your entire content management piece will be managed by Sitecore, obviously on Azure. And then your front end can be hosted on other platforms like Vercel, Netlify, which offers the similar kind of capabilities. So you are saved from any kind of maintenance cost that you will have to put into your infrastructure kind of thing. Similarly, there are a lot of upgrades that happen. So in most of the projects that you're working, you might be on XP. So the client is either on IS, PAS kind of versions, and then you have to go in for an upgrade each year, or say about 2-3 years later if you're on a latest version, because the product version goes end of life. So all of these capabilities, again, the client has to invest on the upgrades to put in the new installations, the new features, the new security patches. All of that goes away with XM Cloud. That is why it puts a more advantage for the client as well. Though the cost would be more once you start working on XM Cloud, but eventually, if you look at the benefits while you are, saving yourself on the maintenance cost of infra, you're saving on upgrades, you're getting the latest features and functionalities. Therefore, it becomes more essential to move towards XM Cloud. So this is just a gist to give you, why we should be there. Now let's look at more from the marketer's perspective. So here are a few points which we've tried to capture. So someone who's like more of a business user, they also get those flexibilities once they move to XM Cloud. So it has, added personalization advantages where we can, set various conditions through which we can fix the personalizations on the go. It can be done by a content author or a marketer. So it's not essentially a developer who has to work on the personalization capabilities. And of course, if we want to add advanced features on personalization, we can bring in the AI ML kind of capabilities through CDP, through personalize, and bring in more, on the go kind of interactions through personalization. Then talking about content editing and authoring. So it's an easy drag and drop based mechanism. It's totally low code, no code. Inline editing features are available, and I'm sure because most of you are developers, you will already have those kind of details of how this system entirely works. So you can make the changes in the layout. The changes in the screen size based on whether it is used for a mobile, a tablet, without any kind of coding that is required on the system. Similarly, content management and delivery is also simplified using the XM Cloud. It offers a multi-channel content delivery for the system, and it can, be enhanced using the experience editor and the horizon for the entire content management. Then with XM Cloud, there are features of analytics and insights. So the basic features for like looking at the analytics of your site, of your page, how much it is being browsed, all of those real-time analytics are available for a marketer as well, and they can look at it on the go, and they do not need to, go back to a developer to get those kinds of details. And then obviously speed and agility, because you are able to manage your traffic spikes. So if there's a site which is going very high during, festive seasons, they can manage their peak load in that span with the SaaS based model, which comes into picture. And then they can easily launch campaigns during this festive season, during some discount times when you want to give them discounts, say during the Christmas, during the New Year. So all of those things can be managed by a marketer itself. So these are some of the features and capabilities that XM Cloud brings to the table for a marketer. I'll quickly just bring up my screen and maybe I'll just walk you through some of the basic functionalities. Maybe you might have already known it, but just to give a glimpse so that, all of us are aware and we are covered on it. And then we'll just jump to the developer perspective. So I have logged into the XM Cloud here, and we've created a short demo kind of scenario here. So here you can see that within this site, we have the home, about us, and new page that has been created within the system. And then on the top, you'll be able to see that there are options for editor, templates. You can personalize the content, and you can also look at the various analytics here. And if you see here, I was talking about the different options. So basically, you'll be able to size it for a mobile, for a tablet, and it provides that flexibility for the desktop as well. So we don't have to, go back to a developer, a person who's like me, a marketer, or maybe a client who wants to look of how the screen size would look for a mobile, for a tablet. They can easily switch through these different modes and check that. Then there is an inline feature which is there for editing as well as that is available. So within this page, if I want to, make any changes, I can do that on the go. Let me check. I think the page is expired. I'll just reload. So if I want to make any changes to this content and then I want to, have a preview of it. So I just change that brands to branding. So I can easily look at the preview and whatever changes I've made on the system, I can browse through it and see what changes have been reflected. And similarly, we can publish these changes once we have done a preview. So whether we want to publish a page, sub pages, or we want to do it in all the different languages that we are configuring the site. So that is also another feature that can be added. Then personalization has also become very easy for the users. So if I just go on personalize, so the basic personalization capabilities are available here for the user. So you can see that for a page, I can create different variants. So if I click on create variant, maybe I want to choose, say, age group of young adults or maybe anything. And I can just create a page variant with that name. And I can put in my personalization conditions on top of it to manage that page. So I've just added the name of the page variant, and then I have the option of adding different conditions onto this page. So here there are options of country, region, date, time, and I can select different options for adding the personalizations. So I can select the country, where is this region belonging to, and what is the condition that I want to add. And similarly, I can group a number of different conditions and save those personalization conditions for a page. And then I can, preview that page and see, preview all the conditions that I have created for that page. And again, go back to the editor and make personalized content for that particular page. So these kinds of capabilities are available here. So if I look at here now, so earlier there was a default page. There was another personalization condition that was created for a page. Now I've created one for young adults, and I can, make those changes and personalize it according to my requirements. Similarly, there's an option of analytics. So as I was saying that, we can check the sites insight or the page insight. So what is the average time that has been spent on the site? How many number of visits are there? How many visitors are coming who are looking at the page or looking at the website? So all of these things can be managed by a marketer itself. So there's no requirement of doing any coding there. So that was just a, simple view that I wanted to show. We'll just go back to the deck, and maybe we'll go through the uh, developer side of it and explore more on the development part of it. So here I covered few capabilities on the interface side, which is related to pages, analytics, personalization, content editor. And now I will let Kamachi to talk about the developer tools. Over to you, Kamachi.
Yeah, thank you, Sakshi. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, hope my screen is visible. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, let's deep dive into the capabilities offered for developers and from operations standpoint, what are the capabilities offered by XM Cloud platform, right? So XM Cloud being a SaaS offering, it provides access management where like you can have SSO configured to authenticate your developers and marketers to access your organization. And the SSO can be enabled with OIDC Connect or XAML configurations. So you have out of the box options provided. Content delivery will be done through Experience Edge. These are the terminologies like which we will be familiar with. And XM Cloud is a headless offering. Considering it, you will be having a head application, which is nothing but like in a generic term, we call it as front-end application, which will be hosted on separate hosting servers. So for to connect that hosting servers, XM Cloud provides out-of-the-box connector for Vercel and Netlify kind of providers. So if you want to have your front-end application on separate cloud providers, you can do connect through CLI commands, right? And Hexam Cloud is a composable DXP CMS offering, right? Composable defines that it will be like it can be integrated with other MarTech solutions. And here, like we have the list of MarTech solutions, composable solutions from Sitecore, and XM Cloud is compatible, and it is a composable solution to be integrated with other MarTech offerings from other product vendors as well. So that is the capabilities from operations standpoint. From developer standpoint, we have multiple features offered, advanced features offered by XM Cloud platform. So we will be having CLI, and we'll be having GraphQL APIs, REST APIs, webhooks, JSS has the front end Sitecore out of the box framework offered with the SDK provided, and all these like we will deep dive in now. Okay, so from development standpoint, maximum like we'll be like more keen on understanding the architecture and technology stack. The XM Cloud supports headless CMS and API first approach. What are the APIs offered for content delivery as well as for other operations activities? And from development and customization standpoint, XM Cloud brings up multiple approaches for component building. Apart from the capabilities offered with the usual DXP lifecycle components like lifecycle, right? Like templates, pages, and all those. Along with that, it provides the advanced features. So that also we will look in, and what are the options we have to implement the DevOps capabilities. What are the out of the box capabilities, and what are the customization of capabilities offered to implement your DevOps. So these are things we will deep dive in. So this is the architecture we all would have been familiar. Here, like the major things I would like to bring in is the URLs. So these are the URLs for quick reference. The portal will provide you the package of projects and pages is the new offering where you will get what you see is what you get editor with the inline editing capabilities. Deploy app will provide you the DevOps options, and components builder will provide you front end as a service. Along with that, you can have your JSS custom flexible component and BYOC components as well, integrated and configured for different data sources, right? And here, like one thing I'd like to bring up is we will be having a CM instance, and your content will be delivered through Experience Edge through GraphQL APIs, and you will be having your Next.js, that is the head application, hosted on separate out of the Sitecore instance. So Sitecore instance will have editing host where you will be having the set of artifact what you have deployed to JSS app, right? So the same set of artifact will, one version of the same set of artifact will be deployed onto your Sitecore managed instance, which we call it as editing host. This is the host which will provide you the inline editing capability in your pages editor, right? So this is something I'd like to bring in. And yeah, so this is the quick refresh steps to get your JSS app connected to your XM Cloud instance, right? So first you will be creating the project through deploy app, and XM Cloud provides out of the box connectivity to connect to repositories like GitHub and Azure DevOps. These are the two repository connectivity offered. And once you have these configured, on a quick button clicks, this will pick up foundation template from XM Cloud, and it will provision you the CM instance and Edge instances, and you are all set to go with your Sitecore CMS platform ready, right? And alternatively, these three steps can be achieved through CLI commands as well. So once you have this done, your project and deployment done, you need to work on the customization of the product template, right? That is the boilerplate what has been picked up for your project. So for that, you just have to clone that foundation template, then go ahead and install the JSS libraries through this command npm install this, and validate your JSS version, configure the edge context ID and site name. So these are the only two things like you have to quickly configure. Then go ahead, JSS start connected. What it will do, it will render the foundation template with all the components out of the box, like in the boilerplate given, and it will get the content through API through this context ID, and it will launch your application in your local. So that way you can work on the JSS app components. So this is one way. Like there is another long process where if you want to have your CMS instance in your local, then in that case, right, so you need to set up this Docker containers in your local. So these are the three things like you have to additionally take it along with the previously explained steps. So that way, like you will have your complete local setup done along with a CM instance. Okay, so now we will move towards headless CMS. So like with headless CMS, we all were aware like what is the major benefits it offers. So it provides the content as a service with secured model, and it will provide multi-channel, multiple digital channels delivery, and it provides decoupled architecture with a better front-end performance. So that will translate to better SEO performance, and that will again like implicitly translate to your values, right? So and with the headless approach, we can be time to market considering the advanced JSS frameworks were compliant with the accessibility features and multiple other security standards followed in the uh, JavaScript frameworks like React, etc. Okay, and now, these are the list of APIs offered by XM Cloud. Here, like you can see, delivery API. So, the delivery API is the key API, which is the one like will provide you the content delivery from a experience edge. And here, if you look at token API and JWT token and delivery API, these three are in a group. And admin API to automate your admin activities. Preview API and authoring API is like more focused with the CM authoring part. You can enhance the authoring experience for your customer by leveraging the authoring API. You can create items and you can do all the CRUD operations with your content items through authoring API. And deploy API is to automate your DevOps operations. Okay. So this we will deep dive in and we'll see like so delivery API like where we will like as I mentioned content as a service. When we provide the content as a service for multiple different digital channels, say mobile app and other accessibles, it require a security, right? Security features will play a major role. So like what is the steps like it require is you need to make a first initial call to acquire a JWT token, and the token acquired through this JWT API call has to be passed as a payload to acquire your SE API key through token API. And once you acquire the SE API key, that needs to be submitted to GraphQL. And the JWT token, what has been acquired is set for expiration. So that way, like you will have your security intact while you share your content through different multi-channels, right? Uh, Preview API is for authoring, and where like we will be having we can directly pass the SE API key from the settings, Sitecore settings SE API key, and we can access the endpoints, GraphQL endpoints offered for preview mechanism as well as for authoring API as well. So this is the major advantage of this JWT token and token API mechanism. So now we will deep dive in for demo. So we have a customization options brought in the Sitecore development component lifecycle. So here, like we all are aware, Sitecore flagship product has pages, page templates. In turn, it has page templates. Pages will have multiple. For pages will have layouts. Layouts will have placeholders. In turns, it will have renderings. We had view rendering, controller rendering, and multiple other rendering in the conventional implementation with the native rendering, right? So now in the headless world, we will be we can build the components through JSON rendering. And there are other options also provided by XM Cloud, that is front end as a service to build your component. Bring your own component if you have your complete web component library, right? So these are the options we will look at for. So from front end as a service perspective, if you look at, you can add multiple. There's a component builder there, like you can add multiple different HTML elements, and here you can define the grid sizing to target different breakpoints for different devices, say tablet, mobile, and other targeted devices. And you can define your own styles, and where like you can define the theme, and you can convert the design system into your style libraries, and then like you can leverage all these in your component building with the front end as a service, right? And once you have defined your front end as a service component, right? You can stage it and go ahead and publish, and you have to configure the data source for your component, right? You have developed the UI elements, now you have to configure the data source for that. So to configure the data source, there are like multiple two options. One is you can add a data source from different external APIs, where you will be having a simple uh, fetching mechanism, like which will not have a authentication mechanisms with a simple API key or kind of static API operations you can do, and you can get the responses validated here, and you can create the data source and save it, and that can be mapped to your components. And the another option is you have your CMS content configured in your Sitecore, and you want to map to that particular data source, right? So that way, like you will be having an option in your settings here. Um, yeah, you will be having an option in the settings here, that you can configure the front end as a service component data source templates. So once you have this configured, right, then like you can get all those items like displayed as a data source, and you can validate its fetch, and you can validate its content and structure, and you can keep this data source saved, and you can map this data source in your UI elements. Here like you will be having an option to map, and here like you can select based on the data type of your element, it will showcase the appropriate fields here, and there you can map it. Here like this is the text element, and for which you can see these are the text elements which were like available for mapping, right? So that is something you can do. So now moving on to, so this is the approach of component building using front end as a service. So front end as a service, as I mentioned, like you have certain disadvantages, like when you want to authenticate with your API, and then like you have a token mechanism, and which has the expiration needs to be set, and you need to have multiple cohesive API call to acquire data and render in your component. Then for that option, you need to go for JSS component. Okay, so that we will look at. Bring your own component. So in your in any organization, right? So like where we'll be having a design system built with the component libraries. So if you want to leverage that, you can bring your own component and register it, right? So here like let's see this quick steps. So you just have to do a JSS scaffold BYOC and name your component, and once that is done, then it will generate a Next.js component to register your BY component, web component. Okay, so here like once you execute this, you can see this has created the component, and you can go ahead and start defining your JSON schema for the data source, which you, what is the like equivalent map data source you want to define, and you will be having a UI schema also which you have to define. So I'll just to showcase the sample of it. Okay. So this is the JSON schema which you have to define in your web component. When you bring your own component for the registration, you have to define this, right? So where like you will be having first name, last name, etc. All those you can define. And what is the type of this the JSON schema? All those like you can define it. And for UI schema, you have to define like what are the properties of your elements. Once that is done, so like it will look like this. You can see here. So I have image URL text, URL and URL text. I want to formulate and depict in this format where like I'll be leveraging these properties to map it. And for these elements, like what are the UI properties I want to define, right, while registration, that also I can keep it ahead. So that way all these like placeholders and everything will be displayed. Okay. So let us quickly see a demo on this as well. Let's navigate to the page builder. Yeah, here you have the page builder here. So say for example, I'll be adding a component. I already did register this BYOC. So registration is nothing but like once you have this JSS scaffold BYOC done, you have to deploy your JSS component. That's all. Okay. So now you have to add this BYOC promo. So you have this added. You can see what are the whatever the JSON schema configured here. You will see the option to configure it. For now, I will just take the image link from here, and I'll say use a concession, and I can have like the URL to navigate for this, and schema reference. Okay, I'll just update this. So here, like you can see, based on the definition of my HTML configurations, it will render this. You can preview this. Yeah, here, like you can have a link and right. So that way you can have bring your own component. So this is the second method of building your component, right? And the third method is the most flexible and most widely used method, that is JSS component. So this is a powerful option where like because and also it is a preferred approach from maintainability standpoint and from scalability plus standpoint as well. So you need to create the JSS considering its flexibility, right? So you need to create the JSS component by naming the JSON rendering and your Next.js component as intact, right? And another thing is, so you will be getting inline editing capabilities with JSS component. How, if you ask here, like you can see, there is a text element wrapped up in your definitions, right? So similarly, for every data type, JSS is the built-in library by Sitecore. So it provides the link and image, and for all these, it will provide a inline edit element, right? So that particular inline element has to be wrapped. Then that way you will get the inline editing capability. If that particular element is not wrapped, say for example here, right, you are assigning this property field directly within this div element, then like you will not get the inline editing capability, but still it will uh, achieve the purpose of your component development. Okay, so so the best practice is to you have to wrap JSS elements to get the inline editing capability. Okay, so these are the three things like which I could quickly cover.
Kamachi, we are not able to see your screen. I think there was some issue.
Okay.
Can you reshare?
Yeah, I'll just reshare again. So is it now, or like it was the case?
Yeah, just now, 10 seconds
Just
back,
now.
we lost the screen. Yeah.
Okay, is it visible now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay. Okay, can I proceed with the DevOps? Like if we don't have any questions, then let's proceed for DevOps. Okay. So right. So this is the XM Cloud deploy application offered out of the box by XM Cloud offering. So where like you can you will be having this structure. Organization will have multiple projects. Every project will have multiple environments, say dev, QA, prod, etc. And every environment can be like created with multiple deployments, right? So every deployment you can trigger and create and trigger. Every deployment will map to the repository what has been linked with, and it will get the artifacts, build, provision your instances, and deploy, and post actions will be taken care here. So this is when you want to leverage the out of the box offered DevOps uh, platform, right? So in case like if you want to customize your DevOps activity, where like you want to have you want to have deployments done through customized pipelines, right? Then like you can leverage these commands. Say for example, this is the non-interactive login option. Okay, if you want to do a deployment from your local app for any interactive login. Okay, so for that you require a client ID and a secret. This can be created by the organization admin from this credentials option. You can just generate a one with a click of button. So and the second command you have to execute is just create a deployment. So .NET or Sitecore Cloud deployment, create the deployment for this particular environment. Once you pass that environment ID, this will upload the artifacts from your repository or like from your local instance. Okay. and that way you can have this automated. So this is what has been depicted here. You can see like how you can do and you can create the deployment and you will get this deployment done. So that said, so we have covered the features or capabilities offered from for developers and DevOps standpoint. Yeah, over to you, Sakshi.
Yeah, thanks, Kamaji. Are there any questions, or we'll just touch base on the few use cases or success stories and we'll just wrap it up?
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, in case if you want to connect, then we have they both are available on LinkedIn. You can ping them, and thanks for joining the session. Thanks, Akshi. Thanks, Kamaji. It was a really
Yeah, thank you.
insightful session from your side. Thanks everyone for joining.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Arjun. Thanks, Kaushik.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you. Have a
Kamaji.
great
Thanks, everyone,
weekend
for
ahead.
joining in.
Thank you.
Thank you.